Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Aussie English with Amanda. Today I wanted to focus on something that I've noticed a lot of my students struggle with, and that's pronouncing the ED sound that you find at the end of regular past tense verbs. But before we get started, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons so I know what kind of content you like, and I'll keep making it in the future. Okay, so did you know that there are 3 different ways to pronounce this sound? Before we take a closer look, there is something else that I want to show you that will help pronouncing these sounds even easier. When we pronounce sounds in English, they can either be voiced or unvoiced. To simplify what that means, voiced sounds are the sounds where your vocal cords vibrate. So they're these ones. You can feel the vibration if you place your fingers on your throat while you say the sound. For example, say the sound B as in bat. Feel your throat, it vibrates. Bat. Unvoiced sounds are the opposite. They're sounds that are made without any vibration in your vocal cords. So it's these ones here. If you say the letter P as in pat, your voice doesn't vibrate. So if you just try it with me again, pat, no vibration. Let's try the voiced one again, bat. So your throat here will have a vibration that you'll feel with your fingers, and that's how you know the difference between voiced and unvoiced. Okay, let's get back to the pronunciation of the ED ending in regular past tense verbs. As I said at the start of the video, there are 3 different ways to pronounce this sound. So number 1 is the id sound. When the verb ends in a T or D, we pronounce the ED ending as id. We remove the E, replace it with an I. So want will become wanted, not wanted. End will become ended, not end-ed. Number 2, the T sound. So for verbs that end in unvoiced or voiceless sounds, again, these ones here, the ED ending sounds like a T. T. Again, we remove the E. So, for example, hop becomes hopped. Look becomes looked. Pass becomes passed. Wash, washed. Watch, watched. Puff, puffed. And finally, the D sound or D. So, for verbs that end in voice sounds, not including D and T because that's example 1, the ED ending sounds like a D with that silent E again. So remember, voice sounds are these ones. They're sounds that make your vocal cords vibrate or your throat vibrate. Let's look at some examples. Rob, robbed. Drag becomes dragged. Live becomes lived. Buzz becomes buzzed. Treasure, treasured. Judge, judged. Slam, slammed. Pin becomes pinned. Travel becomes travelled. Prefer becomes preferred. Okay, let's practice. Now that you know the rules, try saying these verbs in the past tense. Number 1, cook. Good. That's rule number 2, cooked. So cook plus the T sound, E removed, cooked. Next word, dance. Yes, it's rule number 3. So D sound, E removed, danced. And the last word, start. Yes, rule number 1. So the id sound, started. Pretty sure I say this in all my videos so far, but like most things you want to improve, language, exercise, any sort of skill and instrument, it requires time and practice. So keep listening to native speakers, keep practicing, and soon it will become second nature. As I mentioned at the start of this video, it is something that I noticed a lot of my students struggle with is this ED ending sound. So try not to be too hard on yourself if it is something that you do struggle with. Keep practicing, keep listening, and then eventually you'll get the hang of it. Thank you so much for being here today and watching this video. If you did find it useful, give me a thumbs up in the comments and I'll see you next time. Cheers!